The following is a commercial program paid for by Heritage Agriculture. The opinions and views expressed belong to its sponsors and are not those of Nexstar Broadcasting, Inc., this station, or their affiliates or employees.
Welcome to Arkansas Farm Talk, where we will look at issues that affect agriculture here in the natural state. Brought to you by Heritage Agriculture. Here's your host, Mike Linton.
Welcome to Arkansas Farm Talk. I'm your host, Mike Linton. Today's guests are Mr. Danny Kennedy, CEO and President of Riceland Foods, and Mr. Kevin McGilton, Vice President of Government Relations for Riceland Foods. Welcome to the show.
Mike, thank you for having us. Appreciate being here.
Good to be here, Mike.
Riceland Foods is farmer-owned cooperative that provides processing and marketing services for rice and soybeans grown by its 5,500 farmer members in Arkansas and Missouri. Riceland markets more than 125 million bushels of grain across the nation to more than 75 foreign destinations each year. Wow. Mr. Danny, talk to us about that.
You know, we do market a lot of grain, and I'd like to explain a little bit about how that happens. I think because of our name, Riceland, most of the time people think about us in mainly rice, but really we're in three what we call core businesses. We're in the grain procurement business with 31 country elevators that receive grain from the members, primarily corn and soybeans. And then we also have a small soybean crush plant. So we're crushing soybeans and doing our very best to supply the poultry industry in Arkansas. And then, of course, our big business is rice milling. So we're running 7 different rice mills, and I would tell you that we're in every market that there is for rice. So I'll talk a little bit about our domestic U.S. business first. We're a big supplier to the ingredients industry, so companies like Anheuser-Busch and Quaker and Post and Kellogg's that are using rice for their core product, they're big customers. We also are a big supplier in the food service business. So this is companies that are pretty much serving rice to restaurants and other functions. And then we've been really focused on building our value-added brand business for consumers. We'll be launching a Retorque microwavable product a little later this year. So it's a smaller segment, but it's the highest value segment that we're in. And then we also are exporting rice literally all over the world on world tenders. But I would tell you primarily we do a lot in the Middle East, we do a lot in Haiti, and we still do quite a bit in Europe. So it's not just a rice company, there are a lot of other things that are going on there.
You bet. Riceland has been in business since 1921. Tell us about the beginnings of Riceland Foods.
You know, I'm not sure this is, I'm gonna get it exactly right, Mike, but as the story goes, around 1921 there were a group of farmers in Stuttgart that had grown a rice crop that year, and they put their crop together to market it, and they hired a broker to sell the rice down in New Orleans. That's where rice used to be, the rice exchange used to be. And so they sent the rice, and a few weeks later they got a letter from the broker saying that the value of the rice didn't cover his expenses, that they needed to send him more money. So they figured it was time they better get into figuring out how to process and market rice differently.
And here we go.
Here we go.
Kevin, Riceland employs more than 1,500 people. Tell us about your team.
You know, Mike, the thing that probably impressed me the most when I first started working for Riceland Foods was the longevity of service. There are people that have worked at Riceland and continue to work at Riceland today that have been there for 30, 40, 50 years. And when you have that kind of longevity of service, you've got experience there in the rice and soybean business that's really hard to replace. And like many companies, you know, we're going through where these baby boomers are retiring. So we're having to bring on that young blood, if you will, to keep the cooperative going. And what that's really done is brought new ideas, new ways of thinking about things, that a fresh set of eyes, especially in an organization that's been around as long as Riceland. So I think we've got a great team. We've got a great leadership team. Danny is a true believer in the team concept about bringing diversity in a room and analyzing a problem and getting different thoughts around that. So we've just got an outstanding team at Riceland and really looking forward to the future.
You bet. Riceland provides marketing solutions for Arkansas farmers. Tell us about some of your programs.
You know, Mike, when I look at our programs, I actually brought the book with me today. We have so many options where farmers can market their rice and soybeans with us. We actually have to print a book every year. Wow. But to tell you a little bit about them, you know, the backbone of the cooperative program is pool marketing. And basically what that means is the farmer members come in and they bring their rice and they bring their soybeans, and they basically say, look, I'm in the production business. This co-op is here to market my crop, and that's what I'd like you to do. So we ask our members to sign up by June 30th of every year. That gives the cooperative an idea of how much grain we're going to have to market each year. And then they have options. They can put it immediately in that seasonal pool, which again, seasonal pool basically means orderly marketing, Mike. We're never going to hit the top of the market, but you're guaranteed we're never going to hit the bottom of the market. You're looking at a good solid average with some kind of premium over the average prices for the year. But it also gives growers options. We actually have a program called Growers Option. So if you're not for sure on the day you sign up on June 30th, we actually give you until October 30th to decide how you want to market that crop. You could put it in the seasonal pool, or you could pick another marketing option that we may have. And you know, one thing that we've seen, again, that backbone of the co-op is bringing grain to one of those elevators that we have. But one of the changes that we've seen in the marketplace over the last 15 years for sure is farm storage. You can't drive down a country road in Arkansas now and not see grain storage going up. So we actually have offered that program to grain storage, where a farmer has storage on his farm. He can still market that crop through the cooperative and still have those same options, and even get his freight paid from those bins, and also get storage paid for there. So we actually make those grain bins work for him if he wants to market it through the cooperative.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let me ask you another question. Of course, it's Riceland Foods, but I know that you guys market other crops other than rice. Tell me a little bit about that real quick.
Well, we're definitely in the soybean business. As Danny mentioned, we do crush soybeans every day, which means we're extracting that oil from the soybean, and we are putting that in a jug to send out to markets all over the U.S. So we give those same marketing options to our soybean growers. Again, they can put it in the seasonal pool. They can put it in this growers option plan. We have hedge to arrive. We have basis contracts. We have cash contracts. So just about any way that you can think of marketing grain, we offer it at the cooperative.
Do you market any other crops other than rice and soybeans, or is it strictly rice and soybeans?
It's strictly rice and soybeans now. You know, there have been times where we've taken corn. Many years ago, we were in the wheat business. But as we have really kind of narrowed in on just looking at soybeans and rice.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Morgan Linton with Heritage Agriculture's Deal of the Week. This week is the Orange Line package deal from Kubota. L2501 Kubota loader, land pride cutter and box blade with an Orange Line trailer. $19,999 cash price, or as low as $259 a month. 0 down, 0% APR financing for 84 months. Payments not due for 90 days. We're customer focused, we're customer driven. We'll see you at Heritage Agriculture.
The Case IH sales event is going on now, making it a great time to get the equipment you need at a price you can afford. You'll find new Farmall, Maxim, and Puma Series tractors, along with our complete line of hay tools, all at a special rate. But hurry, the sales event ends August 31st.
No matter how you buy ag equipment, AgDirect can finance it. We're powered by Farm Credit, people who know agriculture. So along with options to purchase, lease, or refinance, AgDirect offers attractive rates, helpful service, and ag-friendly terms. When you compare the price of iron, be sure to compare your cost of money. Ask for AgDirect, built for agriculture, powered by Farm Credit.
A lot of land comes with a lot of work. The new Kubota MX Series has a lot to offer, including the versatility to mow, move hay bales, grade roads, and clear brush and snow. An optional spacious cab to keep you comfortable in any conditions. A front-end loader with excellent loader lift capacity, hydrostatic or gear transmission options, and affordably priced. Visit your local Kubota dealer today.
Make sure you're prepared for the busy planting season ahead with Great Plains planters and drills available at Heritage Agriculture. The Great Plains lineup of planters and drills, including the 3P4025AH twin row and YP825 planters, are accurate, dependable planting solutions, ready to help you kick off your planting season. Heritage Agriculture, the 7 locations to serve you. We're customer focused, customer driven, and we want your business.
Since 1921, we've been supporting rice farmers across America. These are the farmers who own our co-op, who prosper together, striving to do more for their communities, going deeper, working smarter, growing stronger. That's how we make good even better. That good comes from the time and toil they're passing down of a way of life that supports not only their families, but families all over the world, so the world can be served with great food. Riceland. United, we grow.
Welcome back to Arkansas Farm Talk. I'm here with Mr. Danny Kennedy, Riceland Foods, and Mr. Kevin McGilton. Did I say it right?
You said it right,
Okay,
Mike.
I apologize. Okay. anyway, okay, let me ask you this question. Riceland is farmer driven. Tell me, Mr. Danny, about your board of directors.
We have an outstanding board of directors, and I want to make this really clear that the management group really has nothing to do with that. So all of the dryer locations make up what we call a dryer district, and the farmers from that district elect their leaders, and then one of their council members gets elected to be on what they call the big board, which is the Riceland board. So it is purely a farmer-driven process of who's in the Riceland boardroom and who's on the council. So it's local leadership leading for a local group of members, and it's served us really, really well over the years. I think one of the reasons that we're a cooperative that's been around 100 years is because we've had a really great board of directors. You know, I think the other thing that I've seen change in the boardroom since I've been there is, you know, the demographics of who's managing the land today is really changing. So if you look at our board of directors today versus when I came in 2000, it's a really, really different group. A lot of younger farmers. We also have our first lady, Jennifer James, on the board of directors. And I think, just like Kevin mentioned, one of the things that I think is really important in decision making is having a real diversity of thought. And so we do have a fairly big board, 21. So the board had made the decision years ago to break into subcommittees. So there's a committees within that board of directors. So most of those committees don't have more than 5 or 6 members. So a lot of the heavy lifting when you get into the details around strategy and some of the things that we're working on is done in a smaller group than the big board. So it's a farmer-driven board that's running a farmer-driven cooperative. I want to say this too because I think it's really important. I know we're thought of as a cooperative, and we are. That is our ownership structure, but we're really a food company. And our board of directors fully recognizes that we're a food company that's in the business to sell, build value around the products that they grow. And their job is to make sure that they hire good management. And if they don't have good management, that they fire management. So that's another one of the jobs they play.
Yeah. You touched on the different districts you have. How many different districts are there?
There's 5 different districts, Kevin, that's right.
Yeah. 5 different districts.
5 different districts.
And then they elect a representative, and then that representative serves on your board of directors, correct?
Yes, sir.
How often does that change, or?
They're up for election every 3 years.
Okay, good deal. Riceland members get the benefit of several value-added businesses. Kevin, tell me about that just a little bit.
Well, Mike, you know, as Danny said, as a food company, this is really where we start to shine for our farmer members. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we're receiving a bulk commodity. We're receiving bulk rice and soybeans. And traditionally, if you're just trading bulk commodities, you're trading a low margin type commodity. So what the drive has been is to get those low margin commodities into a higher margin category. So on the rice side today, and we're in the instant rice business, which obviously is as you go to the grocery store and you start looking at instant rice, what is that? That's a convenient product, right? Instead of a 20-minute cook time, you're down to a 1-minute or 2-minute cook time. When you look at some of the other products we're in rice flour. We've been in the rice flour business for a long time. That's actually taking the broken kernels of rice and grinding it down to a flour, and that's used in a lot of industrial type applications there. We do that on a dry basis, and we're also doing an extruded rice flour now, which is even a higher margin business to be in. You know, on the soybean side, obviously we're crushing those soybeans. We're extracting the oil out of that bean, moving that into many markets. We are refining that oil. You can go to many club stores today and find cooking oil. Another oil we're actually in is we would kind of consider it a specialty oil, is rice bran oil. We're the only rice bran oil producer in the United States, and that brings a lot of value to our producers. Again, when we can move their basic commodities up that value chain to get a higher margin for the product.
You bet. You mentioned the rice going to the grocery stores. Is that produced out of Stuttgart, or where is that produced at?
Well, mainly all of our rice that would wind up in a grocery store is produced in Stuttgart. That's where our retail packaging business is. But you know, we're operating 7 rice mills spread over a pretty big footprint in East Arkansas and the Boot Hill of Missouri. We have bagging operations at almost all of those locations. You know, anything from a 25-pound bag all the way up to a 50-kilo bag that may be going for export. So we try to diversify where we can do those bagging operations. But as far as our retail packaging, we have to consolidate that because it's such a specialized packaging. We kind of have to have that expertise in one location.
Yeah. Arkansas rice, and you can get it right at the grocery store, you know. Mr. Danny, we know how important Farm Bill programs are in agriculture today. And the things, all the fights that our Arkansas farmers are fighting. Tell us a little bit about Riceland's efforts, and also, Kevin, Riceland's efforts in Washington.
Well, I would start by saying, you know, there's a lot of debate that goes on about foreign policy, Mike, but I think where I want to start with that is that I want all farmers and all people that think about agriculture to understand that every world country that we compete against has farm programs. They have subsidies. And so when you start trying to look at how we're subsidized, I'm looking at it versus who we're competing with on a global basis. And so it's a bit of a geographical strategy. If you look at tariffs that we pay going into world areas to market rice, and you look at our subsidies that allow us to compete, it's a really, really important part of how the game gets structured when you are participating in global trade. So we start there. Kevin does an outstanding job. Bill Reed before him did an outstanding job. And you know, Kevin does, I can't tell you how outstanding a job. He is in Washington once a month, and he's on the Hill, and he's
Arkansas farmers.
Arkansas farmers,
Yep.
Okay? And then there's hardly a week that goes by that he may not be in Little Rock more than 2 or 3 times. So we are working on farm legislation constantly, way before the Farm Bill. And as time goes forward, what you'll see is it takes a tremendous amount of energy, and I would tell you that Kevin's work not only benefits Riceland members, it benefits all farmers in Arkansas. Yeah. Kevin, you can talk more
Kevin,
about
touch on that just a minute.
You know, I'd say it's all about relationship building, Mike, and we want the Arkansas delegation to come to Riceland when they've got a rice technical question.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, finish up talking about with Riceland Foods. Thank you.
Morgan Linton with Heritage Agriculture's Deal of the Week. This week is the Orange Line package deal from Kubota. L2501 Kubota loader, land pride cutter and box blade with an Orange Line trailer. $19,999 cash price, or as low as $259 a month. 0 down, 0% APR financing for 84 months. Payments not due for 90 days. We're customer focused, we're customer driven. We'll see you at Heritage Agriculture.
No matter how you buy ag equipment, AgDirect can finance it. We're powered by Farm Credit, people who know agriculture. So along with options to purchase, lease, or refinance, AgDirect offers attractive rates, helpful service, and ag-friendly terms. When you compare the price of iron, be sure to compare your cost of money. Ask for Ag Direct. Built for agriculture. Powered by Farm Credit.
Hi folks, Mike Linton with Heritage Agriculture. Spring is almost here. Are you ready? We have Kubota zero-turn mowers, RTVs, and Kubota tractor package deals ready to go. The deals are hot. Why wait? Call one of our Heritage Agriculture locations today and get a jump on spring. We're 54 years strong and here to serve you. Heritage Agriculture, customer focused, customer driven. I'm Mike Linton and we want your business.
Since 1921, we've been supporting rice farmers across America. These are the farmers who own our co-op, who prosper together, striving to do more for their communities, going deeper, working smarter, growing stronger. That's how we make good even better. That good comes from the time and toil they're passing down of a way of life that supports not only their families, but families all over the world, so the world can be served with great food. Riceland. United, we grow.
Welcome back to Arkansas Farm Talk. Kevin, we were talking about the Farm Bill and everything that you spend a lot of time in Washington. We just started kind of touching on that. Go ahead and tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, you know, Mike, again, as I said, it is all about relationships. We work really hard to make sure that the Arkansas delegation understands that Riceland Foods is there for the rice farmer. And you know, we want to be that phone call. We want to be, when they have a question about rice, whether it's a technical issue or whether maybe how a different policy may impact a rice farmer and their operations, we want to make sure that Riceland gets that call. Obviously, we're working close with USDA and other regulatory agencies. Trade associations play a big role in DC, and we work very closely with the National Council of Farmer Cooperatives, USA Rice Federation, American Soybean Association, you know, all of those associations on the front line of foreign policy. So we want to make sure we stay close to them. You know, and even outside of foreign policy, when you think about a company like Riceland Foods, we're a huge energy consumer. So we have to keep a close eye on things like energy policy. So we work with trade associations in DC on that. But I just can't tell you enough about how the Arkansas delegation works as one unit. Obviously, we're closer with Senator Bozeman and Representative Crawford because they're on the Ag Committee, but we just got a great delegation in Washington working as one unit for Arkansas.
Tell us real quick, how does the farmer grower know what programs are available? Is there someone they can call, somebody they can email or contact?
You know, we try to push that information out as much as we can to our growers. Again, we're using more technology today than we ever have to communicate with our growers. But you bet, if anybody's got a question about a farm program that may be out there or just need to talk about it, we're always open at Riceland. Give us a call.
Okay. Mr. Danny, Riceland has been around almost 100 years, okay? What are you doing to ensure that Riceland's going to be around another 100 years?
You know, Mike, we've been around 100 years because I give the farmer membership and the board a great deal of credit for picking really good, talented management to be at the company. If you look at that 100 years, I think there's only been 4 chief executives during that period of time, so that's pretty unique in itself. But the key to being around for a long period of time is talent. And so we're working really hard right now to make sure that we continue to bring in and develop really good talent, which will be the future generation of leadership for the cooperative. So not only bringing it in, but bringing it in and using a lot of coaching and helping develop and put them in different experiences and different jobs so that they can develop. That's the key to the cooperative continuing to evolve and change to serve and meet our members' needs, as well as create products that consumers are going to want to eat. So I really think that's the key to our future success as people.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this question. I know COVID-19 has affected all of us. I know it's affected you guys. Tell me a little bit of how it's affected you.
You know, from a company standpoint, I could not be more pleased with our management team and our employees. We started probably a couple of weeks before the attention and the issue started to really be a big issue in the United States. And I'm so glad that we did, because even today, for the first almost the first month of April, we were on conference calls every morning with every key manager in the company, going through the number of employees in that site, what they were doing, how important it was to the forecast. And I want to talk a little bit about the forecast, because what really happened when this thing struck and you saw the New Yorks and the Chicagos and the Miamis really beginning to shut down, much of that business in those areas is food service business. And with COVID-19 happening and people being in shutdowns, that demand, the demand was still there, but it shifted to retail, to grocery stores. And so we did a lot of work really quick to make sure that we could package more retail items to take care of customers that weren't going to be buying our rice at a restaurant, but they were going to be buying our rice at a grocery store. And so the work that went on to make sure that we could keep our employees safe, first and foremost, and keep that plant running, has allowed us to continue every day to get rice in and out of the facilities and meet the needs of customers all over the United States that depend on Riceland Foods to make sure that we have rice on the grocery store shelf. So it's been a big deal, but I'm really proud of the company and the way that they responded. And I'm really proud of the fact we made the adjustments soon enough to do two things: keep all of our employees safe. We did have one person test positive in Stuttgart, and we had a plan in place that if that happened, how quickly we would get to all of the other employees that were potentially exposed, and that we would make sure that they were tested and safe and quarantined. And then we had, I think, Eco Labs and some other companies come in and sanitize that area so that we could have employees back in that area the next day. We had one test positive in Jonesboro, and we went through exactly the same process. So we really haven't lost a beat, and I'm just really proud of the Riceland organization.
Yeah. Well, in closing, Mr. Danny and Kevin, I would like to thank y'all for being my guest today on Arkansas Farm Talk. I would like to thank the entire team at Riceland Foods for everything that you do to promote agriculture in Arkansas and the Arkansas farmers. Thank you very much, and I will see you next week on Arkansas Farm Talk.
Thank you for watching Arkansas Farm Talk, brought to you by Heritage Agriculture and these fine sponsors.